Right, let's start today's session. So in the last lecture, we were discuss about .NET Core introduction. So this is what we discussed in the last lecture. This is .NET Core introduction. So what subjects we cover in .NET Core package, like C#, .NET, ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET Core MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, SQL Server. So I explain each and every subject purpose also. At the same time, basic introduction we provide, like .NET is, what is .NET, what kind of versions of .NET Framework and Visual Studio, and even .NET Core version, which version we are going to discuss in our session, like .NET Core 8.0 version. Okay. So who are new to this session, you don't worry. So after completion of this lecture, our team will send a demo link, which I conducted yesterday's session, which was completely introduction part. So even you can watch that video through our YouTube channel also. DURGASOFT YouTube channel is there. Our team will send the link also that, okay. So who are new to this session, I recommend to watch yesterday session video recording. Even after completion of demo lectures, once you enroll for this course, you will get complete videos, a regular session, live session videos only. Daily basis, you will get into your Google Drive. Right. Today, I'm going to discuss code execution process in .NET. Okay. Generally, how the code is going to be execute. What is the process behind the scenes? So generally, what language through we are going to write coding part in .NET, C# .NET, no doubt at all. But there are several languages. .NET is a product of Microsoft, I said, and .NET is completely framework tool. In this framework tool, Microsoft people are providing so many languages to the programmers. So according to the programmer choice, they can pick up any language to write the code. But among several languages of .NET framework, C# .NET is the most powerful programming language. So using C# .NET, we can fulfill all the requirements. That's what majority of the students as well as programmers and technical persons, they use .NET, C# .NET as a programming language. That's what we are going to learn, C# .NET programming language only. But Microsoft provides a lot of languages, .NET related languages like F#.NET, J#.NET, Windows PowerShell, Iron Ruby, Iron Python, and many more, VB.NET like that. But C# is the most popular and powerful language. So ultimately, we are going to write coding part in C# .NET language only. But after writing coding or programming part, how the execution procedure is going to take place. That's what I'm explaining here. Code execution process. Code execution process in .NET. .NET means any language, C# or VB or J# or something, F#. Code execution process in .NET. Generally, C# .NET is a compiler-based language, not interpreted. So compiler-based means how many number of lines of code you write in C# .NET programming. Whole program at a time will check and execute. Whole program at a time it will check and execute. That is called compiler based. So whatever we write the code in C# .NET programming, that code is nothing but source code. SC means source code. In general, the source code is compiled by language compiler. That is LC means language compiler. Every programming language is having its own language compiler. And once successful compilation of language compiler, once language compiler successfully compiled the C# .NET logic code, it produces a special code called MSIL code, or this also called as CIL. That means MSIL stands for Microsoft Intermediate Language, or CIL stands for Common Intermediate Language. So up to here, I can say this is first compilation. Yes, there are two compilations takes place in C# .NET or any other .NET languages. Like first compilation it is. First compilation. There is second compilation also there. Let me explain. This is first compilation. Okay. Next, in the second compilation, the CIL code or MSIL code can be transferred to a main component in entire .NET, that is CLR, Common Language Runtime. In this CLR component, there is a inbuilt compiler is there that is called JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. It will be recompile the program for final error check. And after completion of JIT compiler compilation, then this CLR Common Language Runtime will produce a bytecode, or it also called as native code. Bytecode or native code. Native code means it is local to the operating system or native to the operating system. And finally, this code can be processed by operating system OS. But here in the CLR, second compilation is going to be takes place, sir. This is the second compilation. Total 2 compilations takes place in .NET execution. No matter what language you choose for writing logics, in every language, that is .NET family languages only, like C#, VB.NET, F#.NET, J#.NET, JScript.NET, Windows PowerShell, like many languages are there. But our language is C#, no doubt at all. Okay. So this is execution process. Let's give the abbreviations like SC means here source code generally. SC means source code. LC means language compiler. Language compiler. Language compiler. And MSIL stands for Microsoft Intermediate Language. Microsoft Intermediate Language. Next, CIL means. CIL also same. Common Intermediate Language. This is Common Intermediate Language. Common Intermediate Language. CIL means. Next, CLR means Common Language Runtime. This is the main component in entire .NET actually. I'll talk about the CLR in few minutes after. So Common Language Runtime. Common Language Runtime. It's almost equal to JVM in Java. How Java people, they use JVM architecture. Same .NET programmers, we should use CLR architecture, Common Language Runtime. It's a main component. Then JIT means just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler. Yes, this is just-in-time compiler. So totally the code is going to be executed in 2 compilation process. So first compilation, normally the source code which is written in program, that code is transferred to language compiler. If you are using C#.NET means it's C# language compiler will compile the code. Once compilations successfully without error, if any compilation errors, immediately you will see the error. But if there is no compilation error, immediately it will produce what code? MSIL code, Microsoft Intermediate or CL, Common Intermediate Language code. Up to first compilation, it's over. MSIL code will be produced. This code can be understood by only CLR, which is related to Microsoft code only, no? Then CLR can take that Microsoft Intermediate Language code and it's compiled by JIT compiler before going to execute the code and generate a bytecode. So bytecode means it is a binary form, zeros and ones. It's a native to the operating system. This code finally can transfer to operating system. Operating system only can produce the output for us. So this is exactly how the code is going to be executed in entire the .NET process. 2 compilation takes place. But always first compilation is slow when compared to second compilation, because maximum code can be compiled by respective language compiler, that is C# language compiler, and rest of the code can be compiled by JIT compiler, which is associated with CLR. So this is execution process in .NET. But mainly in .NET platform, even .NET Core platform or .NET Framework platform, no matter it is, writing code is very important and executing code is also very important. Both are required for us. Writing code is compulsory required. After writing, you must execute the code also. That is also compulsory. For writing code and executing code purpose, we need to use mainly 2 components actually. That are .NET components, .NET Framework or .NET Core components, anything. Both are same. .NET Framework components. components. .NET is a framework tool actually. That's what I'm saying, .NET framework components, but we are using core software, not a matter. Now, first component is BCL. This stands for base class library, and it also called as FCL, sir. Framework class library, base class library or framework class library, we can say that. Next, this is next component is CLR. That means common language runtime. CLR. It stands for common language runtime. These are the major components in entire the .NET. So complete .NET depend on these two components only. In this, without these two components, you can't write the code, you can't run the code. See, sir, first component is very, very important as using this component, we can write a proper language code. That means logic part completely we'll implement using this base class libraries. Once your logic part implemented using this base class libraries, you must run your logic, no? You must execute your logic. To execute the logic, we use a second component that is called CLR, Common Language Runtime. So as I said just before starting this, writing code is important and execution of the code also important. Both are important. How to write the code using base class libraries. How to run the code using CLR. These are base class libraries or framework class libraries. Same. Class library meaning is what? Collection of classes. How we can say book library, collection of books. Same, class library meaning is what? Collection of classes. So the moment when we install .NET Core software or .NET Framework software in our computer, automatically the plenty of base class libraries or framework class libraries gets installed. So these class libraries all are built-in implementation is there. That directly we can able to use in our application implementation. So very simple, I can say that base class libraries are nothing but very much similar with C++ or C language header files. So before going to write C language code or C++ language code, how we use header files, on the top of the program, hash include stdiv, hash include conio.h, like that. Even Java persons also, they import before going to write some packages, no? Same .NET programmers, we use base class libraries or framework class libraries. So I can say literally these are ready-made resources. Ready-made resources means Microsoft is providing us some libraries to implement your application code quickly or faster rate. With the help of these libraries only, we can extend our logic. So that's what, with the help of base class libraries, writing code is very simple. So without wasting time, we can quickly develop the logic. All the ready-made resources are available. They are giving in the form of libraries. We can import that libraries and we can fulfill your task only. So if you imagine that without base class libraries, Microsoft, if not provide any libraries, then what we should do as a .NET programmer, we should develop from our side from the scratch. Obviously, it takes time, development and use. But Microsoft providing clearly to us all the libraries built in how much it is required. So you can extend the logic by using this library. But every library, base class library, is going to be in the form of two different ways. Every library will come in the form of two ways. One is .exe. Next one is DLL. It is every library is coming in the form of two different ways. One is .exe form and another one is DLL form. Simple, sir. .exe is nothing but it is an executable file. It is an executable file. So that's what, whenever the moment when we double click on .exe, directly your program is going to execute and it will show the output. Why? Because .exe file always is having an entry point. Generally entry point of the program in the sense main method only. So .exe file contain main method, that is an entry point. That is the reason when we directly use this .exe, it is going to be execute and it will show the output because it's having main method. Main method means program from where it will start execution, main method onwards. Whereas DLL stands for Dynamic Link Library. It is. DLL stands for Dynamic Link Library. So this is not an executable file. It is just a supportive file. It is just a supportive file actually. It will support to .exe in the form of adding libraries, supportive file. No entry point it is. This is not having any entry point, sir. No entry point, obviously. Is there any entry point? No, no entry point. So dynamic link library, it is just supportive file. It don't have any entry point. That's what we can't execute directly this DLL file. You can use this DLL file as a supportive file only. While .exe is executing the code, then DLL file can support to this .exe in the form of adding some libraries. That's the reason the definition is there here. You can say abbreviation definition, like dynamic means runtime. That means execution time. Link means it is added some link. What it will add? Some libraries. So while executing .exe file, the libraries are linking to .exe at running time or dynamically. That's called dynamic link library. So base class libraries are in the form of two different ways. One is .exe, one more DLL. .exe is an executable file. It's an entry point. It's having entry point because it's having main method. Whereas DLL is not a main file. It is a supportive file. It don't have an entry point. It don't run directly. Okay, it's just reusability purpose. So DLL concept is very important in entire .NET. We will discuss in practically also in upcoming session. Once you create DLL with with logic, this DLL file you can attach to any of your application for reusability. Once you are ready with proper code with the DLL file, you need not to implement again and again same logic. So once logic we can implement with the DLL, you can reuse this DLL file any number of times, as many as times, because this will be reduce the what we can say time saving process, because one time you can write and many time you can use. This is the reusability point of view. We use DLL mostly in the .NET. So this is base class library purpose. I'm concluding that without base class libraries, you can't write .NET code. Writing purpose, it's provide lot of ready-made resources. We have to use that. So once writing complete, our implementation is complete. Then next we have to execute our code. No, as I said that to execute our code, compulsory this component is required. That is called common language runtime. So CLR stands for common language runtime. Common language runtime means it will provide runtime environment or execution environment for all the .NET applications which are commonly supported. Means the programmer may choose their language as C# or VB or F# or J# like that. Any language, no matter what language code through you have written the code, but ultimately to execute .NET code, compulsory CLR help is required. CLR need to be provide facility to run your application. So CLR is the main component. But sir, in the execution process, there are many aspects will be involved. So that's the reason the CLR is having 4 important subcomponents internal. Based upon the subcomponent only, CLR will provide proper execution environment for .NET applications. The 4 subcomponents of CLR is what you know. First one is CLS. It stands for Common Language Specification. Common Language Specification. Yes. Next subcomponent of CLR is CTS. Common Type System. This also called as a data type system, common type system, and or we can say this is data type system. Data type system. Okay. Yes. So next component is GC, garbage collector. This is also one of the important tool while executing .NET code for especially memory management. Fourth component is JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. This is the compiler. So because of these 4 subcomponents of CLR, especially CLS, CTS, garbage collector, and JIT, just-in-time compiler. So then we can able to run or execute successfully .NET code. If any one of this subcomponent is not working properly, then you cannot able to run your .NET code undoubtedly, because every subcomponent is having its own purpose. In that way, it is going to be work like this. Okay. So this is the case exactly. So next, what the thing is, I'll explain you each and every subcomponent purpose actually. So common language specification. Just now I explained that .NET provides lots of languages to write a logic. So as a programmer, as per my comfort, I can choose C#. Suppose some other developers, they can choose their comfort level like VB.NET. That also programming language like F#.NET, J#.NET. So different programmers, they can come up with different types of code with different languages, because each and every language syntactical rules and regulations are not same. Okay. For example, excuse me, if I choose C#.NET, I can follow the C#.NET syntactical rules and regulations. Some other may choose VB.NET, they can follow VB.NET rules and regulations. But ultimately, the CLR only should take all the inputs from different languages and should process and should give proper execution output. So in this context, what will happen? The CLS, Common Language Specification, is responsible to convert all the syntactical rules of different programming languages of .NET will be converted into common language runtime format only, because CLR is having its own specification and rules, but CLR can understand only its own specification and rules and regulations. No matter the programmer is written in the logic part, C# rules and regulations or VP rules and regulations, no matter. Finally, in the execution time, the common language specification should able to convert all the language rules and regulations into CLR understandable format. So this is for CLS purpose. Next, coming to the CTS. CTS subcomponent will focus only on data type system mechanism. As I said, the different programming languages are having different rules and regulations. Even same data type systems also different. So C# data types are different. VB.NET data types are different. Like F#, J#, other language data type systems also different. But one language cannot understand other programming language data type system. At the same time, CLR also having its own data type mechanism, but CLR cannot understand different language data type system. That's the reason there is a component called CTS, Common Type System or Data Type System. This component is going to take responsible to convert all the languages data type system will be converted into CLR data type system format. Then only CLR can provide runtime environment for that programs. Okay. So language specification means syntactical rules and regulations converting purpose, CLS is there. Data type conversion purpose, CTS is there, common type system. Okay. But what about third component, GC, garbage collector? It's very important component, sir. Generally, garbage collector will work for automatic memory management. So automatic memory management, automatic memory management. So automatic memory management means, see sir, generally as a programmer, we are going to write the logic, but we don't think so how the logic is going to be takes place internally, how much memory is required exactly. So for running your application code, what type of memory is required? We don't think so much more. The reason is we have clearly a subcomponent of CLR garbage collector. This subcomponent will work for automatic memory management. That means our application code, whenever memory is required, it automatically alert. When some objects are really not required memory, the idle objects are there, that objects can be destroyed from the memory. That is called automatic memory management. Automatic memory management means simple. Whatever you create objects, application objects. So
that objects can be divided into two parts. One part is objects in use. Objects in use means that the application really need that objects. If that object's not there, then application will not work as we expected. So that's what for that, whatever the objects are really work for the application, that objects require some memory. And some application objects are idled objects, means no use of that objects. That type of objects can be destroyed from the memory. So useful objects you should keep in memory. Unuseful or unwanted or garbage objects can be destroyed from the memory. That purpose, garbage collector will perform automatic memory management option. Okay. So internally, garbage collector actually will call destructor, sir. Later we'll discuss in the coding part also. In general, in every language, programming language especially, constructor and destructor parts will be there. Constructor means to build. Destructor means to destroy. So generally, garbage collector always calls destructor method to deactivate memory or deallocation memory. Once destructor role has finished, that means deactivation of memory, then garbage collector will destroy the objects from the memory. So automatic memory management purpose, we use a component called garbage collector. So that's what in .NET you can remember, you need not to involve the memory writing code purpose. So we never write any memory logics. Okay, how much memory is required? Okay, how to arrange, that's not required because internally garbage collector will take care automatic memory management. So memory management purpose, we use a component called garbage collector. And JIT compiler is a compiler which is used in second compilation of .NET programming, which is going to be associated with CLR. So compilation purpose, we use J8 is there. So these four components work fine. Then only CLR will provide runtime environment or execution environment for our .NET applications. So without CLR, you can't run your application code. Without base class libraries, you can't write your application code. So writing the application code is important to us, as well as executing the application code also important to us. So writing purpose, base class libraries, execution purpose, common language runtime. These two components will play the major role in .NET program execution. Okay. Now this is complete .NET introduction, how the execution procedure, .NET Core version and everything. So we have a lot of subjects, but I said that without having C# .NET knowledge, you can't move towards remaining subjects like ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, and SQL Server. You can learn from any point of time, no problem. But later we'll discuss SQL Server whenever we start database configuration. At that time we will introduce SQL Server. But first we have to focus C#. Sir. It's our main language. Okay, C# language is our main important. For first 45 days to 50 days, we will focus on completely C# only, sir. Because without C#, you can't proceed any further program, any further subject discussion. That's what I'm focusing from now onward, C#, sir. Let's give some basic introduction of C#. After that, we will launch editor tool, that is Visual Studio. Once we launch editor tool, from there onwards, we will start programming part. Okay. First, C# is a programming language. You know already this, which is used to write coding part for the application development. Any programming language, if you take, then that is only for coding part purpose only. But as what type of language it is? So C# is a general purpose programming language. C# is a general purpose programming language, sir. General purpose programming language means what? High level also, high level. And object-oriented programming. C# is a general purpose, high level, object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming language. Okay. So general purpose means C# is not only for specific applications, general applications like using C#, we can develop console application, web applications, okay, Windows applications, and web services, gaming application, network-based applications, and many business applications, Many type of applications we can build or develop using C#.NET. It is called general purpose. So high level means C#.NET is high level programming language. That means while working with C#.NET code, all the low level activities purpose like memory management, code access security, allocation of the memory, deallocation of the memory, internally by default C#.NET only will take care. That's the reason we can call it as this language is high level language. All the high level languages will take care all the low level activities. And object-oriented programming means any programming language is object-oriented, then that programming language through we can build a application with high security and high reusability. Okay, so that is the advantage of object-oriented. So this is C#.NET, only basic information. But what versions we are going to use? Because as I said that .NET Core we are discussing right now. .NET Core version 8.0. Visual Studio 2022 is there. This is the latest one only. Editor tool, we know that. .NET Core version 8.0 we are learning. But C#.NET programming language, no? So C#.NET versions also there. What is the latest version in .NET Core 8? What version of C#.NET I'm going to teach? I'll explain, sir. Quickly, I'll finish this. Now you can see versions of C#.NET. You must know about these also, sir, because our language is C#.NET. What version I'm going to use? Let's quickly finish this versions. So as I said that yesterday session, .NET was announced by Bill Gates in the year of 2000. The first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. So that's what C#.NET 1.0, which was released in 2002. Let's copy paste quickly so that I can edit clearly. There are many versions are there, sir. Right now we are in C#12 version. So 2.0, which is in 2005. 3.0, 3.0, which is in 2007. Next 4.0, these are C#.NET programming language versions, which is again in 27 only. 5.0, 2012. Year actually that is. 6.0, 2015. Then 7.0, 2017. 2017. 8.0, 2019. This is 9.0, 2020. In the year of 2020, we were using 9.0 version. 10.0, 2021. This is 2021. Next, 11.0, 2023. Then we are using this version only, sir, now currently in our class. C#.NET 12, Visual Studio 2022. That is .NET Core 8 version. So I'm giving clarity now. In this .NET Core package, I'm going to teach you .NET Core 8, or you are going to learn .NET 8 only. With Visual Studio Editor 2022, this is the latest editor. With the C#.NET version, C#.NET 12 version, you are going to learn. Okay. So this is complete basic history of .NET and C#.NET. So in the tomorrow lecture, I'm going to start introduce Visual Studio installation and Visual Studio introduction. Once I launch Visual Studio successfully, so that from there onwards, I can start coding parts clearly, sir. So this is about complete basic introduction of .NET, yesterday's session, today's session. So you have any question regarding this session, please feel free to ask me. So tomorrow we will start coding part after launching Visual Studio 2022 editor tool. Once I start coding part, then continuously I'll explain all the topics of C#.NET with proper live coding only, sir. Okay. So you can please feel free to ask me any questions regarding this. And who are new to this session, I strongly recommend to watch the first video of .NET introduction yesterday, which I conducted. Anyway, after completion of this lecture, our team will share the demo link video also. Please watch it so that you will get clarity.
Good evening, sir.
Proceed.
Good evening, sir.
Tell me.
Sorry, as of now, we were told that the framework is updated means it may contain some libraries and the updated libraries will be available.
Yeah.
But the versions of the .NET means it is a language as far as I am concerned. How the versions will be updated, sir, for a language context of view?
See, version updation means there are library updation also automatically come.
Yes, sir. For framework, it's applicable because so many of the n number of libraries can be added for easy working. The framework will provide the library for every time. But
That's
the
what, that's what. See, sir, you are using .NET Core 8.0 framework, core framework that you are using. Once that 8.0 means 6.0, we were teach previously 6.0 .NET Core, imagine that in the 2021.
yes, sir.
And to 7.0 there, 8.0 there, we are in 8.0, but same library not there, extension, some library which is not unnecessarily Microsoft, literally they can remove from that and they can update extra sources into the new framework. That's what, if your version change means completely updated version only. Features and libraries and implementation wise, it is completely according to the market requirement, they can update.
Yes, sir. Sir, I understand, but I am speaking about C sharp context of view, that is language context of view.
That's what, man. See, .NET Core 8.0 means not only framework point of I'm speaking, all under comes into version C sharp version change, ASP library change, Web API library change, everything. It's a package completely, not one.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Uh, Once that major version change means lot of updations keep on in the programming language aspect and ASP.NET aspect, entity framework aspect, everything is going to be changed.
For the adaptability, the C sharp .NET also change accordingly. Okay.
Obviously, that's what here. See, we are in the .NET Core 6.0, for example. At the time 2021, .NET 6.0 means what was the version of C Sharp .NET 10?
Yes, sir. Sir. Understand.
Now we are using Core 8, 12. Also in tomorrow Visual Studio, once I launch, there once I go with .NET Core 8.0 selection for application creation, what language has compatible, you can see the C Sharp .NET 12 only it shows.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Mm. Depends on selecting core version. Even once we launch Visual Studio 2022, you can choose 8 7.0 also. Do you want to develop application with core 7? You can choose. At the time, C Sharp .NET language automatically adapt the language, what version suitable that is. 8.0 also you can develop. 5 also you can develop. No problem at all. Even still, some companies are using .NET Framework 4.8 only, not core version.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
4.8 in the sense they wanted to go with platform dependent style. As I explained in the beginning session, from 2002 to 2000, what we can say, 15, Microsoft released many framework versions only, that is Windows operating system based. From 2016 till today, .NET Core only there, all operating system platform independent style, that is. Depends on their requirement.
Sir, but the value is cross platform only. That is .NET Core only.
Obviously,
Yes, sir.
because even also in VS Code, while selecting .NET Core option, that shows clearly it run Mac OS, Unix, Linux, Windows and all. But when we choose 4.8 framework, it's exclusively run on Windows, not other.
Sir, platform dependent only. That's
Yeah, yeah.
sir. Sir.
So thanks for attending this session. Have a nice time. See you tomorrow at same time at same link.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.